Good morning. It's the middle of March and it is cold this morning. Tonight's supposed to be single digits outside, so winter is still here. We're here today to make a video about some questions I've been getting. It's about the fan, the purpose of the fan. Now this fan right here, I'm just going to turn this on. This is just the most normal fan in the world that you'd have in the summertime. We have this blowing on the plants. So this is on number 1 right now. This is just the normal fan you'd have in your house, and it has 3 settings, like 1, 2, and 3, or a low, medium, and high. Well, this is low, and as you can see, the leaves are moving, but they're not being blown too hard. Pretty much every night, I have this fan inside the propagation house. I just set it in there. And then I shut the door and I zip the door shut so that it stays a little bit warmer in there. The plants are on the heating pad, so they're staying warm. And then the fan keeps the air moving. But there are 3 main reasons that I have the fan. When this air is moving across, I'm going to turn it up to 3. So this is high, and you can see that they're moving, but it's not killing them, it's not hurting them. If it was certain times of year, maybe if the weather was warmer, or if I'm getting ready to transplant these outside, I would have it on a higher setting during the nights when this fan is going. You can run this fan 24 hours a day. You can run it just a few hours a day. It just kind of depends on your situation. But let me explain why I have the fan. There's 3 main reasons for the fan. The first reason is disease control. There's different kinds of fungus, molds, little diseases that are in the soil, that can be in the soil, that will cause the plants to die. There's a common name, and it's called damping off. And it's called damping off because when the soil surface is damp, it's the perfect condition for these plants to die from the disease. It's the perfect condition for the disease to thrive and live, and it will kill the plants. Now, I don't have any damping off here to show you. Sometimes I get 1 or 2 that will damp off, but I don't have them because, oh my goodness, there is one. I've never been so excited to see a disease. This one right here did it. Okay, we're going to try to get a close-up of this. So the stem is coming up and it's big around, and then it's pinched in the middle, and where it's pinched it fell over. So usually I hate that, but since I'm making this video, there's actually one right here. This plant has fallen over. So I'm gonna oh, this is great. This is great. So I'm gonna get a picture of that, and it will be up here on the screen right now, so you can see what damping off is. Now this could be caused by different types of fungus. Pythium, Fusarium, there's other types of disease that can cause this to happen. But so that's the first and the main reason that I keep the fan going on these, is so that those diseases don't overtake and destroy the plants. Because with tomatoes and peppers, you can damp off an entire tray like this and they're all dead. And once they do that, there's no coming back, there's no fixing them. So now that I see this one happening, what I'm going to want to do is look at all of them and make sure that they're all okay, which I think they are. I better look at this tray real close. It looks like they're all okay. I better run this fan more often. I've been only running it at nights. I'm going to turn this on 24 hours a day. So if the surface of the soil is too wet, it will be the perfect condition for those diseases to grow. So if you water from the bottom, that will help you so that you don't so that the disease can't grow as much, because the top of your soil isn't as wet. So here's a way that I water from the bottom right here. So I just have a giant cookie sheet, and I have these strawberry plants in here, and I just put them in the water. I put the whole tray in here, added water to the pan until it soaks up from the bottom. And that can help. That can certainly help. So instead of watering with the watering can, you just set the tray in the cookie sheet or a cake pan or whatever, and then it can soak up from the bottom. That can really help. That's the first big reason that we have the fan on, is to control disease. The second reason is because you want good stem strength in these plants. As the stems come up, if they're never moving and they don't have any resistance, the stems will be very weak. And when you plant these outside, as soon as the wind hits them, they'll just whip around and they'll be dead, and your plants will not thrive. So there's a term called hardening off, where you make the plant stronger by giving it stress. So what I'm doing right here is I am stressing these plants. We used to go through and do this a lot to our plants, 3 or 4 times a day, and we'd be pretty rough with them. This is not gentle what I'm doing to these plants, but what it's going to do is make that stem strong. Now let me be clear. If I have a fan on here, and this fan is blowing all day long, 24 hours a day, and those plants are moving, that is going to cause the stems to strengthen, and it will make a thicker, stronger plant. And so you'll have a more robust transplant that's ready to go when you transplant it outside. This entire tray gets transplanted outside. This tray is planted inside the greenhouse. So these ones are going to have a little bit easier life. These ones need a little more roughing up. And see how they're starting to smash down? They're starting to get hurt. I'm not breaking the stems off when I do this, but it is stressing them a little bit, and it's going to make them stronger as they grow. The other way you can do that is with water. I could water these with a hose pretty hard, but if you're breaking your plants, if you're shattering leaves, that's too hard. But if it's just laying them down flat, in 12 hours, or even 5 hours, they'll be standing back up again. If they don't stand back up, you know you did it too hard. So never do that again. But that would be a good way to make them grow nice and strong. The third reason for the fan is to get carbon dioxide inside of the leaf. If we're in a protected greenhouse, which we are, and then we have a second greenhouse right here, and when that's zipped shut, there is no air movement at all, unless I open the door and I'm walking in there and I'm moving. If I move my hand over the top like this, just the movement of my hand makes those leaves move. So when the sun comes up and the light hits the leaf, there's a cell in the plants. There's hundreds of them on the leaf surfaces, and sometimes they're on the top of leaves. Usually for aquatic plants like a water lily, it would be on the top of the leaf, but a lot of plants it's on the underside of the leaf, but it's called the stomata cell. And when it opens, that's the stoma, the hole that opens, and that's how carbon dioxide, well, just air, all air goes in, but it uses the carbon dioxide powered by the photon, which comes from the sun, and it photosynthesizes, and then the plant makes sugars and carbohydrates and vitamins and everything else that it makes, all the metabolites that it does, colors, shapes, flavors in the plants, all those things happen because of photosynthesis. And so in order to get the carbon dioxide into the leaf, we need sunlight to open the stoma, and then we need air to actually get in. If I'm in a place where there's no wind, I have a diaphragm, which is a muscle. I have lungs that can take the air, and then it gets into my bloodstream. Animals can breathe. We can go like this, and we can take a nice big breath. We can use our lungs and our diaphragm to get air inside. The plant does not have that capacity. I don't know of any plant that breathes in the way I just explained. What happens is they have to have airflow. The breeze has to blow. So in greenhouses that are shut and tight and sealed in the wintertime, plants will grow very, very slowly if there's no air. So if you want fast plant growth, you need to have air. So this is how we get good plant growth. So if this fan is on at night to control disease, I need to have it on during the day when the sunlight is coming down, blowing. This needs to blow so that the air is getting into the stoma of the leaf at the same time that the photon is coming down, or the plant can't grow. So those are the 3 reasons why I use a fan. Let me review those real quick. Number 1 is disease control. Number 2 is to strengthen and make a strong plant, because it has to get stronger when it gets moved. And number 3 is to get air inside the leaf so that photosynthesis can happen and you can have good, great growth. Hopefully this has helped you have the best garden of your life, and hopefully this is taking the hard part of gardening out of gardening. I'm trying to simplify this for you. Thank you for watching. Share this with anybody you want. Tell them to sign up for Patreon so that they can get their questions answered. Have a great day.